Echo and Harper Audio present America Was Hard to Find, a novel by Kathleen Alcott, performed by Tristan Morris. (1969) It is possible they are the only Americans not to watch Vincent Kahn walk on the moon, despite the proximity of a black-and-white television, a Panasonic, rolled out for the occasion. Despite the gasping and weeping around it, she and her son remain where they sit in the unnamed restaurant. Its floor is dirt. Its tables are plastic. The fourth wall, at their backs, a retractable fence. The family in charge ferries rice and juice and deep-fried plantains from the back rooms where they live, pushing aside a half-parted wood curtain. Behind this sits an unmade bed on the tile. At the foot, a toddler's discarded sock. What is said about her, not often with warmth, is that her dress is poor, but her teeth are rich. Her son is 9 years old, and he might be the only American child who does not know Vincent Kahn's name. He has swum that day, in the middle of July, in a tributary of the Amazon, in the Morona Santiago province of Ecuador. He wears saddle shoes, tan and white, and so does his mother. If his chin drifts over his shoulder toward the noise, she snaps it back with her voice. On the table between them lie small squares of paper, adjectives and verbs in tight cursive, and the things he has insisted she buy him, decks of cards and glass beads. The major events in his life have been the violence of new molars in his mouth, the loud chirp of pale geckos in the windows at night. As the room becomes the applause, she speaks his name, Wright Fern, and touches his face. Because she has the posture of a dancer, a center of gravity that draws all to it, in the second after it seems his cheek has come to her palm, and not the other way around. The sounds now are minor, the clicks of saliva in open mouths, sentences that only get started. Back in the country they left, boys about to be deployed, already in uniform, lean on the floral arms of childhood couches to see Vincent Kahn cross the virgin surface. Nurses snap on the wall-mounted sets and usher the dying awake. His mother is the only person he has ever really known, and he will grow up largely without any photos of her, at least who she was before this. In the second-to-last letter Fay writes to her parents, 3 years from now, she'll ask that they destroy these images, and they will, along with the request. Book 1, 1957 to 1964. 1. Mojave Desert, California, 1957. In under a year, she has lost touch with all of her friends, girls whose hair she had braided into hers, whose naked bodies she had watched more closely than her own, and so she would tell no one about the first day he took her up in a plane. They had disappeared into their new lives, those Cindys and Judys at Scripps and Mills and Bryn Mawr, and she into hers, the gin cut with lime, the desert cut with wind. Her forearms and deltoids were toned from lifting the chrome canisters above her and shaking. The sounds of the planes from the base a mile away ceased by 5, a quiet that always seemed to register with the men as a failure. It was as if, when the noises stopped, they began looking for someone to blame. When someone called her a cunt the first time, she made his $10 change in pennies. There was not a second, at least that she heard. Her stationery had been lilac, embossed in gold, a gift from her parents, and the day she met him, she had just thrown it out, watched the color take on oil in the trash under the register. Vincent and Fay were the only people who did not step outside the bar to watch, but they could hear the hooves shifting on the buckling metal slide and the pilot's hands slapping at the shallow pool. The horse was Lloyd.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?